Hello my friends, John LaRuffa here with another Straight Up Solo. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at Books of Time. I'm going to show you what this game is like. I'll show you a couple of turns, explain the situation, and then tell you my thoughts on it, and hopefully help you figure out if this is a game you'd like in your solo collection, or one that you would want to just close the book on. All right, let's go get started. All right, folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And if you have, I always appreciate that support. Us solo gamers gotta stick together. So what you see here is this game set up on about the halfway point, give or take, maybe a little prior to the halfway point. And what's going on in this game? Well, let me just start out by saying the theme of this game is pasted on in such a way that it would make Reiner Knizia blush. No, that wasn't my original, but someone said that once and I thought that was hilarious. So anyway, the theme does not matter, okay? I mean, yeah, they talk about it in here and such, but this is not a theme-filled game, okay? This is a game about turning X into Y, or spending Y to get Z, or doing A to do B to do C, etc. That's what this game's about. It is a Euro game with Euro game style mechanics, with a little gimmick about these pages and such, which actually works kind of well, I think. But just be clear, you're not going to feel like you're pouring through some amazing stuff with regards to the times of this world. At least I don't think you will. Unless you really want to do that and you want to look into the manual and read about the history and stuff. I mean, you could do that, but I'm just saying, not here. Okay. Solo-wise, what's going on is you're going to play this game exactly like you would play it in a multiplayer game, except you have to choose easy, medium, or hard in regards to the solo, and you have to choose different goals to do. And you have to choose one goal from tier number one goal from tier number 2, and one goal from tier number 3. And when you choose those goals, so tier 1's up top, 2 and 3, if you don't accomplish those goals at the end of the game, you lose 15 points to your overall score. Also, you have a specific score requirement you're going to need to do. So I'm playing on medium. I need to at least achieve 110 points or more to win. And also with medium, you have to, I think, at least achieve 1 or 2 of these goals too. But I don't want to lose the points, so I'm going to try to achieve them all. All right, so what's going on? Well, what you're doing in this game, like I said, is you are trying to score points by converting these resources here, which are pages, fountain pens, and files, into books that you write down, or pages that you write down. And when you write those pages, you get an instant benefit, which is printed on the bottom here. And there's various different icons that let you do different things. And then later on, you can actually activate your pages and do what's on the left and the right side, and then flip the page. And when you flip the page, it will reveal a new left and right side. And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to write these things in the most efficient way. And when you do that, you can write anything from this board over here that you can afford, any of these cards, multiple times. And so if you have, like for instance, if I wanted to write these cards both at once, I could pick this one and spend 3 fountain pens, 4 or ink pens, put it in my book, get the bonus. Then I could write this one for, 1 pen and a paper, put it in the book, get the bonus. And you always have to put it in the book on the right side. And that does matter in regards to the yellow goal tiles, because in order to score the yellow goals, you have to have a specific type of page in a specific order, going from left to right, or as you open the book, the first page would have to be, in this case, let me just give you an example here. The first book would have to be a sailing ship, the second one would be this camel, and the third one would be this cart. And if you do that at the end of the game, you'll get 11 points. Now you can make the goals harder for yourself by moving up on this advancement track, but instead of taking the bonuses when you move up, you will discard these goals. And they'll make them harder, but it's an all or nothing thing. So once you make them harder, that's great, but if you don't accomplish them, even if you accomplish like a lesser thing, it's not good enough and you won't get any of the points. So a bunch of points are scored in these 3 different categories. And then a bunch of points are scored throughout the game when you do something to activate your pages. So for instance, like this, if I simply have my green advanced token on level 4 or higher, I get 4 points if I activate that page. Well, that's kind of cool. All right. And there's other ways, like you can see over here. If I activate this page, I would get 1 pen, 1 paper, 1 point, and then I could spend a paper to do a free activation and get another point. And so there's all sorts of chains like that that gets you points. And there's ways to score points in the advancement tracks where you score a lot of them by going up in these things and fulfilling a specific condition. And that's a big way to score points. So those are some of the things. The other thing you're wanting to do is you have to bring pages from this offer onto your board. And when you do that, you always put it over here. It will shift any cards that you buy throughout the game to the right, and then that will make them effectively cheaper as they go down, okay? You can build these, or write these things, by the way, in any order. You can draw, like I said, you can draw from here, taking 2 of them, or the top one, putting them from left to right. I told you about advancing, but the last thing I'll tell you about is turning the page. So if for whatever reason you want to get deeper into your pages, you can turn up to 3 of these pages, and then you gain the immediate benefit on all the pages the next time. So the reason you want to turn the page is because sometimes you want to advance to the end of the book, and if you do, you will automatically close the book, and when you close the book, you get all of these instant bonuses again that you have in regards to how far you've gotten in the book. You can close the book early, but then you won't get as many of those things. So turning the page is not a bad idea too, if you want to move things along. Now, the solo game is played in exactly 15 turns, I believe, and that's the same thing as you would get in the multiplayer game. And at the beginning of your turn or the end of your turn, you can choose to activate this event book by basically doing these actions here. So let me go ahead and show you what some of this looks like. All right, so the first thing here is at the beginning of the turn, you're going to turn the page on this book, and whoops, I think I turned 2. Yeah, I definitely just turned 2 pages there. Don't want to do that. So I've turned those 2 pages, and the only thing the solo player will do here is it will discard these 2 cards. And unfortunately, that would cause me to lose if I have a situation that I actually do have. Well, that's unfortunate, because it says here, if Scribe or Scribbles gets 3 of any one of these symbols, you lose immediately. Well, he already has 2 of those symbols, and I only have 1 of these files, which you can spend to keep him from doing that. So this is actually going to cause me to lose the game. Well, that was unfortunate and unexpected. So sometimes that can happen, and that's why you want to be careful with choosing one of those instant lose conditions like I did. But just for the sake of watching what happens, let's pretend that this card was actually not there and this card was, okay? So I would spend one of these files, and I would then, shoot, it still does it because he still loses both of them. No, I would spend one of these files and he doesn't discard this, and he would discard this instead. Or not instead, but in addition, okay? So then that would be that turn. Now, I would have a choice. I could either activate these things right now, or I could wait, or I could do some other action. Well, I also know that the longer I have these out here, the more risky it is. He's going to discard them and I could lose. So I'm definitely going to write 2 pages. And the pages I'm going to write, I'm sorry, not write, but I'm going to draw 2 pages. I'm going to draw this one right here to get these out of here, and this one right here. And at least there, I will flush out some of that red, so next time I don't have such a situation. All right, so then that was my action, just to draw those pages, okay? Now, this has benefited me because here, if I simply have 2 red pages in my player board area over here, I can draw another free page and get a point. So let's do that. And I'm going for a bonus that would be helped if I went with this, although I've already lost the game, so I won't even be finishing it, but I'm just demonstrating some of these turns. Okay. And then that is it. Now I can also do this, which I will. I will discard one of these pages and get 2 more points. So that's the end of the turn. We flip it over. He goes ahead and he discards this and this. We automatically refresh there as soon as he finishes his discards. And those are out of the game for good, but I'm keeping track of them because of the condition I had there. Okay, and then let's just demonstrate another action. So let's say I've got a bunch of these things. I'd like to write some pages. So why don't I go ahead and I'll write this page here. And actually, I need to write this page first for the sake of my goal. And again, I'm playing like I'm going to continue, but we both know that that's not going to happen. However, if I write it now, this is in the way. So it's probably better that I turn the page instead. So I'm going to turn the page. I'm going to turn this one. I'm going to turn this one. I'm not going to turn that one. I'm definitely going to turn this one. Okay. Now having turned those pages, I activate the instant bonuses on the bottom. So that's 2 white pages. Oops, sorry about the camera, folks. 2 white pages and 1 of these. Okay. Now I look over here. I'm not going to add any more cards to my offer. I've got plenty there. I'm okay with what I've got. However, it is risky having this card out here because that could be an end game condition. So maybe I will add this one. That'll bump off this card, which I need. So I'm going to take the risk. But I am going to discard one of these pens and get 2 papers. All right, that's the end of that turn. Now we flip. He takes the top one off, so that's not a big deal. And now let's write some of those pages like I was talking about. So I'm going to write this one. And I will spend the 2, put it in the book, and immediately get the benefit, which is to draw another page to my tableau, or my board, or what do you want to say? It's not really a tableau yet, I guess. And I'm going to get this one out of there again because I'm worried that he can end it like that. All right, that was the first, but I can keep doing this, and I've got a bunch of resources because I've saved up a bunch. And so here, what I will do is I will draw, or I will pay 3 of these to write this page. And that says spend a point to get 2 more of those writing tokens, and I will. And then I'm going to spend, let's see, I'll get this one here. So a page and a pen, put that in my book. Spend a point to get 2, and I will. Because my supposition here is that the more resources I have, the more I'll be able to build. Here, we might as well do this. I shouldn't say build, I should say write, but you see what I'm saying? It's kind of thin on the old theme. We can add one of these here. I want to add this one. And so you can see how if you like chain combos and efficiency things like that, this can get really satisfying. Now, I don't want to do this right away because that would break that chain that I want for my situation there. But I will write this one. Yeah, let's write that one. And call it a day. So I feel like I wrote a lot of stuff there, did a lot of stuff, got a lot of bonuses. Now, one of my goals was to write at least 6 pages into my industry book. Well, I've written 1, 2, 3 so far. These 2 are starting pages, they don't count. So, basically that would be one thing I'd be focusing on, was trying to continue to write green pages and try to couple that up with those. And so you can see how it goes. At the end here, I could have done this maybe beforehand. It may have been better. I don't remember. I think I had some green cards, or 2 yellows out here. In fact, I know I did. But I didn't, and so we're just going to forget it. And so anyway, we would keep doing this until we finally got to the end of this book. And when we get to the end of the book, it's quite simple. You look and see, how did you do on these goals? You look and see, do you get any other points from anything like this, like maximizing those? And just for chagrins, I'll show you that action because that's really the only thing I haven't shown you. You can do these advance actions, just like I said, and you spend as much as you can afford. So like I could advance this one, for instance, here. That says advance any extra one. Well, I advance that there, and advance this one over here if I want. And then I could spend 2 pages and a pen and go here, and then I would get 3 points for each different thing that I have. And it happens that I have 3 different things. So I have 1, I'm keeping track of where I am, 2, 3, so that'd be 9 points right there. And you can kind of see how that could add up pretty quickly as you do stuff. And I'm out of stuff to spend, so I can't spend any more. So you get the idea, I think, about what you're doing in this game. When you get to the end of the 15th round, that's it, you score it. You get pluses or minuses depending on your conditions over here, and hopefully you win. So let me tell you what I think about it. Okay, so that was Books of Time. So again, I'll start with my negatives first. My first negative is the theme. The theme is just kind of pasted on. It doesn't mean anything to me. The books are gimmicky, but I actually think that the mechanic works well with regards to how the pages turn. I think that is cool. I think it's cool how you can get to the back of the book, and if you do, then you ultimately would be able to go to the front of the book and get all those bonuses back. But in essence, you're really just stacking cards, right? I mean, it's not really like you're reading a book in certain ways. So that, I guess, is kind of gimmicky. But, that's about all bad I really have to say about it. Now, you saw me hit that instant lose condition, but that is completely optional. I do not have to. If I don't want to play by that, I could have played by a different condition. That would have been something that I would have had to score or achieve to not do that one if you don't like it. And I do like the fact that this game has multiple difficulty levels that ratchet up the challenge of the puzzle. Because it's not just beat your own score, it specifically has things you're trying to watch out for. And I think that is important for a game like this, because if it wasn't like this, I think it would just be kind of blah. But because you're trying to do the specifics of the goals, the specifics of the AI conditions in order to not be penalized there, and put these combos together, I think it's really kind of cool. And I enjoy a combo built game. I enjoy an efficiency game. I would not say this is like an engine builder, because you're not really building an engine here. It is more like a hand management kind of situation where you're turning X into Y, and you saw that. The different types of cards don't feel thematically all that different. Just because it's in the green deck doesn't really distinguish it so much from being in the yellow deck or the red deck. Although the actions are different, I'm sure thematically, if I focused on them, I could see, okay, this would mostly focus on this types of actions versus this type or this type. But it's really not about that. It's about trying to put the right cards together in the right combination to meet your goals. And I like to press a little bit of a push your luck of, how close do I get to this goal? So do I go deeper into it to increase my scoring capacity, or do I just pump the brakes on that one? So that's enough. I'm not going to be able to achieve more than that. And that's the joy of this game. The joy of this game is trying to puzzle out just how much you can accomplish and how high you can score while still being constrained by having to achieve those solo objectives to not lose. And I think that is cool. So I like the game. It's definitely going to stay in my collection for quite some time. Who knows? Maybe a long time from now I'll have played it enough, but it does not seem like one that has a limited depth, just because you can put together lots of different combinations, and if you like solving these types of puzzles, that's what you're going to get down here. And I definitely think that every time you sit down, it's like solving a modular style puzzle. You're not going to say to yourself, I don't believe, well, I'm going to have this particular strategy or that particular strategy like you would in some other type of Euro game, for instance, like Field of Arle or, other games like that where you're going to focus on one thing or another. Here, you're going to do a little bit of that to make sure you get your goals accomplished. But the way the cards come out and things like that, and the efficiency you're trying to build in, it's much more tactical. So that's what I think about it. Hopefully this helped you figure out whether it's something you want to put in your collection or something you just want to pass on, or something maybe you want to try before you buy. I think it's enjoyable. I thought it was recommended to me, like I said, in my unboxing of the game, and it's been an enjoyable game to play, and I like it, and I'm glad for that recommendation. So if you guys have other recommendations, I always like to hear them. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching the video, and whatever you decide to do in the future, I hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy, everybody.